Oh no, it said recording in progress.
I know, recording is in
it literally
progress.
says, do you want to leave this meeting?
Whoa, I don't
click,
want to leave the meeting.
I understand.
Do you want to leave the meeting?
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good. I've actually been looking forward to this all day, so.
Yay! Okay, I saved the best for right now. I thought it would be fun.
That's a huge mug. Oh my word.
And I'm not in college, but I just really wanted to have the giant mug.
And I've got the one that's about being a dad.
What influences you?
Oh man, everything.
Yeah.
But most important, I would say nature. Like if I don't know, I can't think of something, creativity's lacking, I'll just go outside. I watched a poet, and he said, if creativity just isn't there, go outside. The trees will train you, the grass will train you, the wind will train you, and I 100% agree.
There's a moment every artist has where they read something, they watch something, they listen to something, and it just turns on a light bulb for them that basically says, I can do anything. Like, if that thing can become a major this, surely I got a shot. And I mean, I tell people this, Stephen King referenced it in his book, like there's always that one book for every author. And, you know, I tell people I'm not going to give away the title. It rhymes with 50 Shades of Hay. But I picked up that book one day just for funsies, just to see what all the fuss was about. And I turned to a random part in the middle of it. I'm not going to repeat the line, but it made about as much sense as a dolphin having a heart attack on a keyboard. And I read the line and I put it back on the shelf, and everything in my head was like, you have a chance. Okay, come on. Like, you've got a shot. So a Possum Dracula movie, sign me up.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a singer?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you know what's funny? Though I think I want to say the band that made me realize, this is so silly, the band that made me realize I wanted to be a singer was the Backstreet Boys. Why? Because I don't do anything like them. Like, but I can't remember the name of the song, but it was like, it's not Back in Black, is it? No, that's the different. It was like, this is gonna kill me. I can't remember what song it was, but I was obsessed, and I was like 6 or 7, and I was like, I remember watching them on TV, because they were maybe going to a music awards or something, and they were swarmed with people, and then they went and they performed live, and I was like, that's it. That's what I want to do. I want to do that because I love them so much. Super weird.
I had a teacher whose name is Pradeep Malde, and he is a very, if you're into 8x10 Palladium prints, he's your man. When I say that, it's the negative is 8x10. Okay, it goes in a huge camera, the kind with the bellows, which is my favorite. I loved that. I did 4x5. I was not quite 8x10, but and he's amazing. He's very famous. He's done a lot of books. He makes the prints that they use in photographic books. He's cool. So he took us out into the woods one day at Swanee, and he gave us all a string. And he just said, okay, everybody, there's like 12 of us or something. So he put us all in a circle and said, everybody walk until I say stop. So we all walked until he said stop. He said stop. He goes, nobody move. You are going to shoot an entire roll. That's how long ago it was. A roll of film, 36 pictures. You're going to shoot an entire roll of film without moving, because I'm going to teach you that there is a beautiful composition, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you are.
The girl walks through the showers of glistening gold. One may think that it's a present, but so it's only told. The rain of metal comes down constantly, even though it may seem like a blessing at first. Swiftly, it gets old. The problems that come with it enlargen, both in importance and physicality. But it's great, right? To have it rain gold. No matter what is included, like the pain or the casualty. But over time, the rain gets heavier and the dread starts to fill. When will it ever end? This was a problem that is starting to build until one day, the rain stops. When you draw your last breath, was that value of gold worth the pain and suffering? Was it worth your life, which ended in death?
I want more for you than this life, more than all this emptiness inside. A life exists outside of this love. Can I lift your listless eyes up? By any means I'll try to fix this. Give you more than empty kisses. I dream your dreams and wish your wishes. With you I hope the hope you once dismissed comes true. You were lovely, like the stars above. You were lovely, and you are still loved.
And that's the beautiful thing about it, is it brings that humanity piece to it that we don't realize we're missing until we get it. It's just like water. Sometimes you may not realize how thirsty you are until you actually take that drink and you're like, man, I was really thirsty. And so I realized, in this world where we're constantly dividing ourselves or being more individualistic, you don't realize how much you really need connection. You don't realize how deep of a connection that you long for. And this spoken word is a way for people to connect on a deeper level, from me to them, vice versa. But then also it sparks conversations between them and the crowd, or they take it home and talk with their friends or family. And that connection just continues to grow. That deepening of the soul just pushes out. And so I love the power that has in a positive way, because I do believe doing that with a positive energy is the best thing to think about, because emotions are very fragile. And I take my poetry very seriously. With every line that I do, every topic that I try to address, I try to really think about, is this going to bring people together, or is this going to tear people apart?
I was following Chris Stapleton pretty heavily when he was in the Steel Drivers, which is his bluegrass band that he was originally in. And we would show up to like Union Station, all these dive bars where like nobody was showing up, and listen to him just wail. So for years and years, like straight up got slightly fangirly and like went to Nashville Public Library to watch him play. And the second he walked into the right, I was just beside myself with adoration. And I was so nervous and I couldn't think of anything. Like I would practice and thought, okay, be cool, do your thing. Like you're also an artist. It's okay to just be cool. And he walks in with this guitar case that looks like something out of Santa Fe. And being from Arizona, like I just got blinded by the light essentially. It was just like, no hi, no hey, I'm Cassandra, nice to meet you. I just went, I like your guitar case. And that was it. That's how I met Chris Stapleton.
The main thing is be true to yourself. It's like when you start working in the industry, a lot of people want to tell you how to be, what to do, what to sound like. It's like you got to please yourself first, because whether you succeed or fail, you want that to be your decision. You know, it's like, well, woulda, coulda, shoulda. You know, you should do what really is in your heart, you know?
There is an island made of glass, and a shore that's made of bones, where in silent halls of guilt and hate a king sits on his throne. Quietly amidst the ravens he sits upon his throne. He knows his island is made of glass, and he knows he is alone. No one knows how he got there, all alone and full of dread. He went to war for finer things, but now those things are dead. How mighty he was in his youth, the voices pop in the pages. But now his might is but a might, and the voices are ever laughing. They laugh because of his ruin, at his hall of stone and guilt. There is no one who can silence them, nor tear down what he has built. He longs for his queen each day, and reflects upon his father's words, but no words of comfort comfort him, and no queen takes him as a lord. The sky is dark and threatens rain, yet no water falls. He cannot hear the rolls of thunder, or distinguish his master's call. There is an island made of glass, and a shore that's made of bone, where there sits a lonely king, and the voices are ever laughing, and laughing, and laughing.
Yeah, I feel good. This is for the blooper reel, the B reel. Oh wait, now you got the blanket, right? Hang on.
Yeah,
I'm
just
feeling
kind of in there. A little contrast.
Yeah, I'm feeling cozy now. All right. Building the B reel.
World.
Building the B reel.
The more you put pressure on yourself to get it done and to finish it and to fit that time frame, the harder it is to do, because I feel like my creative side just kind of shuts down and says, okay, no, we're out of creative juices for the day.
You're right. And a lot of people just shut down altogether emotionally and psychologically when they've got, say, 3 or 4 different places crashing in on you at once. It's hard to maintain a creative flow when you feel like the world is crashing down on you. So you have to be able to just focus on one thing at a time, and multitasking works, but it's hard to stay creative while you're doing that. If you can't compartmentalize things for little blocks of time, it's a lot of trouble.
What's your best encouragement or advice for somebody that's dealing with that right now?
I'm actually dealing with it right now, but
well, we're all in it together.
Exactly. And the best thing I can give you is you have to get one thing done at a time. You have to focus on one thing and check it off the list, and then you can move on to the next thing, and everything just starts to lift off of you, which I've been able to do over the past couple of days. I've gotten 2 books uploaded to the printer late last week, one this morning, and another's going tomorrow. And so when those pressures get off of me, it's going to feel like I'm light as a feather.
You can breathe.
So yes, so just getting one thing done at a time is the biggest thing.
Walk outside, I'm surrounded by some kids at play. Oh, I can feel their laughter. Oh, so I see her. Oh, and twisted thoughts that spin around my head. I'm spinning, oh, I'm spinning hot with the sun can drop the rain. Now I've been our hands, little broken glass of what was everything.
I just kind of
have always just kind of taken notes of life and culture. And I've been especially drawn to difficult things, and hope in the midst of difficult things. So when I'm watching a movie, I've always been frustrating to be someone to watch a movie with, because if I'm at a theater, even I'm typing a quote into my notes of my phone. Before I had a phone, I carried a little notepad. And if someone says something in a conversation with me, I'll say, man, I want to remember that. Can you say that again? Or if somebody quotes something in a movie or a poem or a story, like I try to curate those ideas and repackage them and put them together in couplets, in rhymes, and then find a couplet here that fits with another couplet here. But mainly I'm just inspired by really beautiful things other people have said or done. Mainly courageous and brave things that people do. I think that's the most courageous thing, or the most inspiring thing to write from.
I even wrote a song about how I am the cause of my downfall constantly, because I'm too scared to try. And therefore I never know if I'm good enough. I just convince myself I'm not, and I cut myself to the quick. You know what I mean? So I'm just now getting to the point where I'm comfortable being like, hey, I've written a song. I think it's good. I don't really care if you don't think it's good, but I think you'll like it anyway. So you know what I mean? And that's so empowering to be like, I actually don't care if somebody doesn't like this. Like, that's great. So it's just me kind of defeating that voice of being like, doesn't matter. It makes me really happy. And I feel like maybe not everyone will like it, but I know at least one person out there will be like, I get this. I feel this. It means something different to me, but I feel it. And that's also such a thing that can keep you going too.
I guess before anything else, I was kind of a singer. Like, you know, my mom even tells me, like, you know, like some of the first things she can remember, like about me as a baby, is like I would just start, like, I'd wake up every morning in the crib singing. It was like just how I woke up, you know.
Are there
just saying
videos of that?
songs. I hope so, but maybe not, but I'll have to ask her. But yeah, it was just kind of like, I don't know. I've always had this infatuation with music and just loved singing growing up. You know, like cool songs on the radio, I would just sing them all day, drive my whole house nuts. And then around, I would say maybe like 11, 12 years old, I started kind of messing around on piano. And, you know, the whole point of me picking up an instrument was just to accompany my singing, because I thought, you know, it's kind of boring singing without anything else, right? So, you know, started messing around on piano and I got pretty decent at it. And I would say around, I think like 13 years old, my dad had an acoustic guitar that he just kind of was laying around the house. I wasn't allowed to play it. You know, he'd go to work. I'd sneak it off the stand and then just go to my room and mess around with it. But yeah, it was one of those things where just kind of once I got a hold of it, it was like, you kind of can't put it down, which, you know, I don't think there's anything else in my life that was like that. You know, it's just I don't know, you just kind of like, from the moment you pick it up, it just kind of resonates with you. So, you know, from there, it was just kind of like, here we go, let's take off with it.
You know, it's just, I feel like it's easier to get into a rhythm and to get into a more convincing headspace and give a better performance when you are given one shot to build up to it, execute it, and walk away from it, instead of getting the cheat of, hey, if I don't get it right this time, I can just go back and do it again in the next take. Because then you kind of stop taking it as serious every time you have to film it. Because it's like, I already said that line, but I'll say it this way, or I'll say it this way, I'll say it that way. You know, what do you want? And then at some point, you get so fed up with it, you just start throwing random stuff in there to try to make someone laugh, or try to get the hints across to the director, where it's like, all right, we did this, let's go to the next one. Whereas if you're on stage, if you mess up that line, that's it. Like, that just fell out of your mouth. That is now in front of everybody. Figure out a way to recover and get off. and don't do it again the next night. But you're going to be thinking about it all day. But that's how you know it's genuine. Like that's how you know that it's real, because like in life you don't get to choose how well things go, and sometimes that falls on stage, and it's like a brutal reminder of, oh, yo, we're human and we just forgot our lines. Great, let's just figure this out as we go.
One last time, one last time. Not to change your mind, but to say I miss you.
You let your coffee and your water steep for about 4 minutes, and then you come and you break the crust and you let all the grinds kind of settle to the bottom. And then you are going to come through with your spoons. And essentially you are going to break that crust, get a little bit on it, like that, and then right. And then typically you would have a little piece of paper and you would describe exactly what you're tasting. So you are in Sumatra world.
Okay.
I am in Peruvian world, and you are in Papua New Guinea.
All right.
So I'm having a love affair with Indonesia at the moment, so that is why there are 2 of those represented and no African. That and my African coffee is sitting in South Africa somewhere.
So we're going to start this episode with a confession time.
Oh,
Which actually came out on a different episode, but it won't air till after yours. So
Okay.
sometimes coffee and words is actually water and words, which is really boring.
is it though?
Because I can't record at home currently. So I actually have
Mm.
coffee today. So this is legit
Well,
cappuccino up in here.
oh yes. Well, I went ahead and just bought the largest mug
Yes. Yes.
I could possibly find, because number one, I live in the desert and we need water. And yes, this is in fact water.
Okay.
100% water. Baptized. You could probably
right.
sit in here and get baptized.
I mean, and in a pinch, if you're in the middle of nowhere and it's a question, there's just only questionable areas to pee. You've got, your own little porta potty right there. I mean, because
Hashtag van life. Yep.
But I also wrote a lot about June Carter Cash, who I made a record with that won a Grammy. And I spent time with the Cashes in Nashville. And, I guess the difference is that, like, when I worked with Guns N' Roses and Poison and Motley Crue and Faster Pussycat and all those bands, they were baby bands and they were just coming up. When I worked with June Carter and Johnny Cash, they were already iconic, so that was kind of a bigger deal for me. Like, wow, I'm like working, Nashville royalty here,
yeah.
So I felt it was a big honor, first of all, and secondly, that I had the responsibility to, portray them as they were, and 2 of the nicest people I ever met. So, yeah, I don't know what more I can really say about that, but it was like a really beautiful experience,
I want to be fluent in your love language. Are you the type to like gifts that cause your heart to be still? I know you walk like heaven with authority, but is there a gift I can give you that can make you be still and move at the same time? Kore wa muzakashi kedo daijoubu desho. Translation: sometimes it may be difficult, but it's okay. I mean, I want to speak affirmations simultaneously for your past, present, and future. I want to touch the heart of your star and watch it melt with my melanin. Korega, aishiteru, te amo. I could think of 4 ways to say I love you, but the heart only needs one. I want to be fluent in your love language. Are you the type to like services that causes silver linings in your life to dance? I want to be fluent in your love language, and you and mine.
I mean, do you have any friends or anyone in your peer group that has looked to you for advice or for inspiration?
Yeah, I have. I haven't met him, but I recently just joined a friend group, and we are all just best of friends now. About 3 months ago, I joined it, and one of the guys, he moved to Arizona, and he just loves my music. He was just texting me today. He made like a montage of some video game or something, and he wanted me to check it out, and it was awesome. I was like, people are doing that for me, and the fact that I can inspire him just to like want to use my music to make something because he liked it that much, that is awesome.
Getting past that, I have this idea, but it's never going to happen. That mental block, which, let's be honest, you've had it, I've had it. My grandmother has had a great idea that she's just like, nah, you know. um,
I
I
wanted
don't
to
care who
invent
you
the
are,
giant coffee cup. That
but you
that
didn't.
I didn't, and I'm still heartbroken, but at least I can drink out of it.
Right, definitely. Um, but the biggest thing is just you just have to do it because let's be honest, if somebody told you, for example, um, I think you could build an engine for a car. What's your first reaction?
Yeah, it's not going to run well.
Okay, but then what if they said? Then you got to think of the idea though. It's like I've never actually tried that. I, maybe I'd be good at it. There's instructions everywhere. I mean, shoot, there's an hour-long YouTube video on how to build a Chevrolet small block 350 from scratch.
This is true.
That
I would
it's
need
it's
help,
simple.
but
Sure,
asking for help.
sure, but the thing is, you would never know if you could unless you tried it.
Right.
And that's where that mental block comes in, is because you think you might not be able to do it, or because it's something that seems so far-fetched that's abnormal, you just decide not to do it. And that's the wrong mindset to have.
What would it look like if we, whoever is watching this right now, if you take 3 minutes out of their day, like I have a reminder on my phone, it wakes me up every morning and it says, what are you going to do today about love? Which sounds really weird, but it when I'm in my oh my gosh, what's happening mode when I first pick up and then I read that, it immediately challenges me into this. What are you going to do about this? And not just wish there was more love in the world, but what are you going to actively do to start sending that out? And even if it's for one person or 10 people or 100 people, like what are you really truly going to do about that? What does love look like to you in your life? Does it look like making eye contact with the guy at Circle K? Like really making eye contact with him and going, hey man, how's your day? Does it look like, the guy that scares you on the corner, a homeless guy who's probably on some kind of meth or something? Like, does it scare you to even look him in the eye or say hi? Like, there are so many minute ways to love humans and connect with them.
Don't forget you're beautiful and valuable, and I want more for you. Don't forget you're beautiful and valuable. I want more for you. You're so beautiful, beautiful. Don't you know? Oh, so beautiful, beautiful.
They would give us the statistics coming up to grade school. So, when they would talk about sports or artists, they were like, only 1 in 12,000 actually become that, or 1 in 16,000 actually make it and become successful. And looking at those numbers, I was like, oh, well, I don't want to be that person who pursues a frivolous dream that doesn't go anywhere. So I want to make sure I get the stable job that they're telling me it's going to work. So, the aerospace was something different and something stable. But I realized that, again, going back to my faith, I'm very big on walking by faith and not just walking in fear. And I realized being an artist is just like being an entrepreneur, which is what I wanted to be anyway. And so as an entrepreneur, you are creating. There's going to be risks and they're going to be unknown, but I recognize that craft with the consistency and the skills, no matter what job you do, you're going to have to put it in, but it's going to be rewards.
Got me like, okay, it'll all change my mood. My waves on a new wave. I've been waiting for so long. But that days came around. I've been vibing, come with me now. You don't understand the point of this song. Now she hit me up, got my vibes all settled, but she don't give a fuck what we do, cause she love it, yeah, okay. So we rollin' one up, right away for the evening, pleasure for some, let the good times begin. You got me like, okay.
What is the dog eating?
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah, and you never know. A little earlier, it was an electrical cord. That was bad.
Yeah. Please don't electrocute the dog during our conversation.
No, that would be bad. No,
Say that for the Be Real, but that's
right.
That's a terrible Be Real.
Bloopers. Yes, that would be a bad one. Yeah. So is that what's real estate is next? Also, I'm kind of like a border collie. If you don't give me something to do, I'll get in trouble. Chew a hole in the wall or something.
Or an electrical cord.
Well, not really my bag.
Okay.
I can see myself chewing through drywall first. Yeah. And hang on. Here's the cootie.
Hi. Oh my. Oh wow.
Terminal cuteness. Okay, go down there. All right.
Be gone.
I developed this brand Overdriven, which is based on kind of like my personality. It's like I'm a little bit anxious. I don't stop working. My mind never stops. A lot of people are like that. But it's like, how can I develop something where I can give back? Not give back, but give to people who don't have these things. So these aren't like expensive guitars a lot of the time. So, I mean, they are to me and other people, but to the high end of guitars, like there's some guitars worth $200,000 or $300,000 now. Seems nuts to me, but you can buy brand new guitars for $10,000 now. And so I set out to find a way to sell things in order to raise money and give away guitars. So it's almost like a raffle now, but that's only because the law does not allow me to pick people myself. I can't pick anybody myself to give out guitars to and raise money with the product. So I had to make it so that I sell merchandise, and then I'm gonna slip off camera just a hair here. Like, this is the first guitar I'm giving away.
That is beautiful.
And it's brand new Fender American Professional 2 Stratocaster. It costs $1,500. And if the person ends up winning it, doesn't want it, I'll buy it back from the person because I like it.
My dream guitar would be a J45. Like an old, like 1960 vintage Sunburst J45. Don't have that, probably never will. And this is kind of cool. I'm just going to sit like this for a minute because then I can look like I'm about to play a song, which I'm totally not. But I can look really cool.
I think you pull it off. I think
yeah.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you're about to break out some tunes for us.
Yeah. I'm going to play my latest song for my latest album. It's called
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
But darling, I fell in love long before the trucks pulled into town. And I'll still be head over heels when they tear the Ferris wheel down. So let's let the lights fade as we make our escape. Leave our last song in the air. Darling, we've stayed too long at the fair.
There's a woman named, I think her last name's pronounced Narichi, but she said something along the lines of like, don't deprive us of your art. And there's such a tendency to be like, oh man, is this just a selfish bid for attention, or am I just showboating, or, am I doing this for all the 100% pure reasons? You're never going to do it for 100% the pure reasons, period. None of us will, because we're human beings. So do it anyways, and then do your best to hit that mark. And when you see yourself straying, dial it back in, but do something. Don't do nothing.
I'm just really trying not to push myself to create something that I'm going to look back on and be like, this doesn't have my hands in it,
Right.
So that's really what I'm focusing on is, does this have all parts of me, and making myself happy rather than looking from the audience's point of view, So that's what I'm working towards. Just absolutely all my ideas. I love other people's ideas, but I want to make sure it's like, yep, I'm not going to say yes to this just because I think this person's better than me. I'm going to actually want it.
So when I left, I loaded up my Ford Escape with what I was going to be taking, stored stuff, and then and my dog had the whole back seat. So I had the very back of the Escape. The front seat was like to the roof. I had a soft topper on the top, and Savvy had the back seat. That's what I took with me. And the compass said, we're going to Nebraska, and we're going to move in with my brother. God love him.
Mark.
And, yes. And Mark is going to help me get a van. And that's going to be my new.
Down by the river.
Let's hope
Sorry.
not, but if it's got the right view
Hopefully people
and no
got
one will
that
kick
one.
me off, why not? I like river life.
Yes. Hashtag river life.
Yeah.
Is everything good over there? Are we
Okay, so Andy turned on his Bluetooth speaker, and you were literally just talking to him in his room for a hot second.
Oh, hey! Andy! Oh, man. All right, well, I can talk to Andy. I'll talk to Andy. Let's do that. Okay, so you heard nothing.
I'm on my headphones.
Yeah.
He's messaging me. He's like, turn off your Bluetooth, bro.
Yeah. Who's talking to me? I'm hearing the voices again.
Exactly. It's Sarah. Ah!
With that too, like what's so cool is, you have that collaboration, you have writing practice, which is just building those literacy skills. And it's like, even if you have students who are like, hey, I don't want to be a writer when I grow up, or I don't want to produce music when I grow up. Like everyone needs to know how to write. Everyone needs to know how to speak. Everyone needs to know how to collaborate. And like, they're able to learn that in like a safe, supportive place where they're able to grow into that and be like, hey, like we always tell students, it's like when we're in residencies teaching in schools and it's like, hey, I want to be a football player. It's like, football players need to know how to speak because you're going to get interviewed and you're going to talk like, I want to go into business. You have to know how to collaborate because collaboration can be really hard. And if you start learning that early, it can only get better as you get older. So it's such a cool opportunity, like even for students who don't choose to go into the arts.
You're a penny I threw in a fountain, a dream and a wish come true. I am overjoyed with every fiber of my being that I get to exist for you. Just when
I thought life was good, God sat you down in front of me. Just when I thought I knew the path that I was taking, you came unexpectedly. And oh, my soul's forever changed. And oh, my heart has found a home within your name. You gave me purpose, making life worth it. Well, I'm glad you came. You gave me purpose, making life worth it. Well, I'm glad you came.
It's easy for me as an artist to reduce what I'm doing. It's just a song, or it's just a story, or it's just a poem, or it's just a painting. But I've curated a lot of great quotes about art as well. One in particular says you can look at a picture and never think about it again, or you can look at a picture one time and think about it for the rest of your life. And that's the same with songs. And it's been film especially that's drawn me into this movement of justice. This is what I'm giving my life towards. And I wouldn't have, had it not been for people that crafted great speeches like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He crafted those speeches in such a way that it touched on this belief that we all have, this knowledge that we all have, that there is something about us that longs to get involved. And the role of an artist is to remind us of that beautiful part of who we are, and to remind us that not only is that longing there, but art tells us and just whispers and even hints and nudges us and says, there's a chance for you to be involved in this too. You can actually tear a little corner off the darkness, like Bono said. You can keep the darkness at bay, like Gandalf said. All that hopeful, but almost like, yeah, you can't, even just saying it out loud when we're talking, yeah, it might have some effect, but in the form of art, it cuts through all those barriers and all those reasons that are oftentimes seem very legitimate for us to do nothing. But art can cut through and convince us. And then I needed to remind me that our small, seemingly insignificant actions of love in the direction of freedom, in the direction of justice, they matter, they're valuable.